Hey, you guys, welcome to one of the most exciting times in American history, and that was the rise of industry and corporations and the rise of unions. Let's get ready to give you a little background knowledge of this exciting time. So, right after the Civil War, we saw this explosion in our country. We saw the building of the Transcontinental Railroad that connected the East and the West, and after that, we just saw that railroads were popping up all over the place. But the problem is that early trains, they ran on iron rails, and those things wore out quickly. Now, steel was available, but steel was extremely expensive to produce and to use. But around the 1850s, there was a new way of making steel, a cheaper way of making steel, and that was called the Bessemer process. Now, a lot of people made fortunes in the steel industry, and I was one of them. I'm a Scottish immigrant, and my name is Andrew Carnegie. I built a steel mill in Pennsylvania, and my friendship with the railroad owners, considering I worked for them, made my business grow. Within a short amount of time, using this new way of producing steel called the Bessemer process, I was making massive amounts of money, and I used that money to buy out all of my rivals. Soon, I controlled all phases of the steel industry. Now, I believe that my workers should work extremely hard for me, but I also believe that the rich had a duty to help the poor. And by the time of my death, I gave away basically my entire fortune to charities. Hi, you guys. I may look like a really nice guy with my simple mustache, but trust me, I am a ruthless business person. My name is John D Rockefeller, and I was the genius behind the oil industry. My father was a snake oil salesman, which basically means that he scammed people out of his money. But back in 1859, there was a new valuable new natural resource that was discovered, and that was oil. And a huge boom followed soon after that. Now, I understood that trying to discover oil was a gamble, and I knew all the money went into refining that oil to make something useful out of it, which back then was kerosene to use in lanterns all over the nation. I later then changed from kerosene over to gasoline, which is what we all are familiar with today. But I used the profits from my refinery to buy up all the other refineries and combined all the companies into one company. And I called that one company the Standard Oil Company. But I made it into a trust, and a trust is a group of corporations that I had bought out that are run by a single board of directors. By creating the Standard Oil Trust Company, I created what is called a monopoly in the oil industry. And a monopoly controls all or nearly all of the businesses in that specific industry. Now, I was such a genius with business that other businesses followed my lead. And by the late 1890s, monopolies and trusts controlled some of the nation's most important industries, all because of my example.